At 79 years old, Barry Gibb stands alone on a stage that once held three voices in perfect harmony. The lights still shine, the fans still cheer, but behind the calm smile of the last BG lives a man who has carried the weight of an entire era. For decades, Barry remained silent about many things: the pain of loss, the price of fame, and the people who shaped his journey. But now, as time slows and reflection replaces ambition, Barry Gibb has chosen to speak, and this time, it's about someone he has quietly admired for more than half a century: Cliff Richard. Two icons born from different corners of Britain, united by melody and endurance. What Barry finally reveals about Cliff is not gossip or rivalry, but something far more meaningful. It's the truth of one legend honoring another. Barry Allen Crompton Gibb was born on September 1, 1946, in Douglas, on the Isle of Man, a place known more for its rolling hills than for birthing one of the greatest songwriters in history. He was the second of 5 children in the Gibb household, where music wasn't just a hobby, it was the family's heartbeat. His father, Hugh, was a drummer who understood rhythm as deeply as he understood discipline. His mother, Barbara, had a gentle voice that carried the kind of warmth Barry would later pour into his songs. In that small home, melodies filled the air like lullabies, and harmony was a second language. Even before he could read, Barry was humming his own tunes, fascinated by how sounds could tell stories words alone could not. When the Gibb family moved to Manchester, the noise of the industrial city surrounded them. Yet within their modest home, Barry found escape in the simple magic of his guitar. Music was not a dream, it was survival. But destiny wasn't done moving the Gibbs. In the late 1950s, they boarded a ship to Australia, seeking a new life, unaware that this journey would plant the first seeds of global stardom. In the warm glow of Redcliffe, Queensland, Barry's musical bond with his younger twin brothers Robin and Maurice began to take shape. They sang anywhere people would listen, at fairs, radio stations, and tiny local clubs. Their harmonies were raw but mesmerizing. Neighbors would often stop outside the Gibbs' house, drawn in by the sound of 3 young boys singing with a passion that felt far older than their years. It was during these humble performances that a local DJ, Bill Gates, noticed their talent. Soon after, producer Robert Stigwood entered their lives, the man who would help propel the Bee Gees from the beaches of Australia to the heart of London's music scene. Their sound was unlike anything else at the time. 3 brothers weaving melodies so tight they felt like one voice. By the mid-1960s, the Bee Gees were back in England, signing record deals, recording in Abbey Road studios, and climbing the charts with songs like Massachusetts and To Love Somebody. Barry's songwriting stood out, emotional, cinematic, and sophisticated beyond his years. He wasn't just chasing hits, he was crafting art. The 1970s brought both reinvention and revolution. While the world was searching for a new sound, Barry found it within himself, the falsetto that would define a generation. When the Bee Gees embraced disco, they didn't just join a trend, they became the heartbeat of it. With Stayin' Alive, Night Fever, and How Deep Is Your Love, Barry Gibb didn't merely make songs, he created anthems for survival, joy, and heartbreak. The Saturday Night Fever soundtrack became a cultural phenomenon, selling millions and earning Grammy Awards, while transforming 3 brothers into global icons. But behind the flashing lights and platinum records was a simple truth: Barry was driven not by fame but by family. His leadership, creativity, and relentless perfectionism turned the Bee Gees into a musical machine. But it also came at a cost. The weight of responsibility, the endless touring, and the desire to stay relevant began to erode the peace he once found in music. Still, Barry's brilliance extended beyond the Bee Gees. He became a sought-after songwriter and producer for legends like Barbra Streisand, Diana Ross, Dolly Parton, and Kenny Rogers. From Islands in the Stream to Guilty, Barry's pen created magic for others even as his own story grew more complex. Before the world knew him as a superstar, Barry was just a young man trying to balance love and ambition. In 1966, he married Maureen Bates, his first wife, while still dreaming of a future in music. Their marriage, though filled with affection, couldn't survive the pressure of fame. By 1970, it ended, leaving Barry wiser but lonelier. That same year, fate intervened. Barry met Linda Gray, a Scottish beauty and former Miss Edinburgh, whose calm spirit contrasted sharply with the whirlwind of his life. Their connection was instant, deep, grounding, and real. Within months, they were married. Linda became his anchor, his quiet strength amid the chaos of superstardom. While the world danced to his music, she built the home that kept him human. Together, they raised 5 children, finding joy in the ordinary moments that fame often steals. Barry has often said that Linda saved him, not from the industry but from himself. Her love kept him from spiraling into the loneliness that fame so often brings. In interviews, he has called her his rock, the constant heartbeat behind every song he wrote after 9. Through decades of success, grief, and reinvention, Linda remained the one steady note in his life's melody. No amount of fame prepares you for losing those who gave your life meaning. For Barry, the deaths of his brothers Andy, Maurice, and Robin were more than personal tragedies. They were the unraveling of his soul. Andy, the youngest, passed away in 1988, just 30 years old. Maurice followed in 2003, and Robin in 2012. Each time, Barry faced the unbearable silence that replaced their harmonies. The Bee Gees were more than a band. They were brothers bound by blood and sound. Without them, Barry struggled to find purpose. He once said that performing alone felt like singing to ghosts, that he could still hear their voices when he closed his eyes. But even in grief, Barry chose music as his refuge. His 2016 solo album In the Now became a window into his heart, filled with introspection, memory, and love. He sang not for charts or awards, but for remembrance. When he steps on stage today, Barry often says he still feels them beside him. "They're still with me," he whispers before singing. In his world, death did not end the bond. It only changed its rhythm. Few artists in history have achieved what Barry Gibb has. 6 decades of hits, 16 #1 singles in the United States, and a legacy that stretches from pop to disco to country. He's been inducted into both the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Songwriters Hall of Fame, honors reserved for those whose work shapes generations. In 2018, he was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II, a recognition not just of his musical genius but of his kindness, humility, and philanthropy. Yet even with all the accolades, Barry remains grounded. He often says that the greatest reward isn't the fame, but the connection, the way a song can reach someone's heart decades after it's written. For him, success has always been about emotion, not numbers. And in that belief, he found a kindred spirit, a man whose career mirrored his in longevity, grace, and quiet integrity, Cliff Richard. For years, fans wondered what Barry Gibb really thought of Cliff Richard, another British icon whose career spanned more than 60 years. Their paths crossed countless times, but neither man ever spoke publicly about their friendship. Now, at 79, Barry finally chose to share the truth. Sitting in quiet reflection, he began not with gossip but with gratitude. Cliff was one of the first artists who made me believe that you could be decent and famous at the same time. In the swinging 1960s, when fame often corrupted and destroyed, Cliff stood apart, calm, polite, unwavering in his values. For Barry, who saw many peers consumed by the darker side of stardom, that was extraordinary. He never lost his faith, Barry said softly, even when the business tried to break him. To Barry, Cliff wasn't just another pop star. He was proof that fame didn't have to destroy your soul. He remembered how Cliff's early success gave hope to young British musicians trying to reach the world. When we were still trying to find our sound, Cliff had already conquered the charts, Barry recalled. He showed us you didn't have to be American to make it big. You could be from England, and the world would still listen. That acknowledgement revealed something deeper, respect born from shared struggle. Both men fought to stay relevant as the world changed around them, and both survived by staying true to themselves. Barry also addressed the quiet distance that puzzled fans over the years. "We weren't the kind of friends who called each other every day," he admitted. "But whenever we met, there was always respect. Sometimes life just takes you in different directions. The Bee Gees' meteoric fame in the 1970s left Barry trapped in a whirlwind, recording, touring, producing. Fame moves faster than friendship, he said. But even when years passed without contact, the admiration never faded. What I've always admired most about Cliff, Barry continued, is that he stayed true to himself. He didn't follow trends, he made his own. Even when the world mocked him for being clean-cut or religious, he stood tall. That takes courage. Barry's words carried the quiet wisdom of someone who had seen how easily fame could devour authenticity. He saw in Cliff something he envied, a man who never let the stage change the soul. Then his tone grew somber. We've both seen friends go too soon. Maurice, Robin, Andy. They were my life, and Cliff has lost people too. When you've been in this business as long as we have, you realize that just surviving it is a miracle. His voice cracked slightly, heavy with memory. Cliff's still here, still singing, still smiling. That's strength. That's faith in motion. For Barry, Cliff represented more than a colleague. He represented endurance. A reminder that integrity and belief could outlast fame itself. As Barry reflected on their journeys, he spoke about what truly connects them. Not fame or fortune, but philosophy. We're both from an era where music came from the heart, not the machine, he said. What I love about Cliff is that he still believes in melody, in lyrics that mean something. That's rare today. In those words was an unspoken lament for the modern industry, where technology often replaces emotion. Barry admired that Cliff, even in his 80s, still tours, still sings live, still connects with audiences the old-fashioned way, with sincerity. From time to time, they exchanged brief messages or words of encouragement, small but meaningful gestures between two survivors of an industry that rarely allows longevity. When Barry watched Cliff perform, he saw not just a performer but a reflection of resilience, purpose, and grace. People always want drama, Barry said with a smile. But the truth is simpler. Cliff's a good man, one of the best. He never gave up, and he never gave in. His voice carried warmth, like an older brother speaking about someone he truly respected. After decades of fame, loss, and change, Barry's words weren't about competition. They were about legacy and gratitude. In the quiet of his Miami home, surrounded by memories and family, Barry often finds himself thinking about the past, the songs, the faces, the laughter that once filled recording studios and stages. He knows he's one of the last of his kind, an artist who lived through every chapter of pop music's golden age. But when he speaks of Cliff Richard, his tone changes. It's not about nostalgia. It's about respect for another survivor who walked the same road and somehow kept his faith intact. At 79, Barry Gibb's truth about Cliff Richard isn't sensational, it's profoundly human. It's about seeing another man's courage and recognizing your own reflection within it. Cliff's story reminds me, Barry said, that fame doesn't have to take everything from you. It can give you a reason to keep believing. For fans who spent years searching for rivalry or hidden tension, the real revelation is far simpler and far more beautiful. Two legends, shaped by time and tested by loss, still stand, united not by competition, but by admiration. Barry's confession closes not with bitterness, but with peace. He speaks as a man who has outlived the chaos, who now values truth over spectacle. In a world obsessed with headlines, Barry Gibb's words are a gentle reminder that legacy is built not on gossip, but on grace. Cliff never changed, he says quietly, and that's the hardest thing in this business, to stay yourself. And with that, the last BG lets his truth linger like the final note of a timeless song. A tribute from one survivor to another, a message of gratitude wrapped in melody and memory, a final harmony between two men who never stopped believing in the power of love, faith, and music.